Yes.
Yeah. I forgot how we begin Litterbox episodes. Hey guys, welcome to another Patreon exclusive episode of the Litterbox. With me this week is superstar game cat extraordinaire, Mikey Diaz. Oh, I used your real name.
It's fine. It's totally good.
Because it's the Litterbox.
Yes.
It's okay.
That's good.
Is your real name in the Patreon scroll?
Yes.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to change that, or you don't care?
No, I don't care.
I don't care. I don't use my real name.
He doesn't.
Craziness, right? One day they're going to be like, really? Wait, what's Brian's... Right now,
Man of mystery over here.
it's Jonathan. Jonathan Paul. Is that not it either?
Mm-mm.
You saw some of my bills. You can probably verify whether my name's real or not.
And his mailbox.
Mailbox.
Or
that's
buzzer.
That's a bar
listing.
down the street. The mailbox.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I can only imagine what goes on there.
Oh, I think you can imagine what goes on down there. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Litterbox. We want to do something a little bit different this week. We had Mikey in town, and he was so gracious to bring something I didn't think I cared about: the Oculus Quest.
Yes, I did. It's so portable that you're able to do that with that thing.
And which one did you bring? Because there's two models.
Yes, there's two models. There's the 60 gig and there's the 120 gig. I brought the 60 gig.
And you seem to have a lot of games on that thing.
And there are a lot of games on that thing, yes. Some that I don't even get to because I'm doing PSVR and that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you really don't... The file sizes are small, so I went with the 60, as anybody else can. And here comes the mic.
We do this on more shows this week, too. So training Mikey how to use a microphone.
Sorry, it's my first time, guys.
Oh, and you were here for it. Oh, sweet. So here's the thing. You were like, I'm gonna bring my Quest, and I'm like, oh, cool. I've been meaning to check that out. Mm-hmm. And even when you're like, okay, here, just put it on your head, and I'll hand you the controllers. I was like, no, I was almost not interested. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't care. It's like it's just another VR headset. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. I got to be honest. First impressions were very cool. Because it uses right away when I put the thing on, it started up by itself, right? Mm-hmm. No buttons pushed, anything. It just starts right up. And then I saw through the headset Mikey standing on the other side of me, handing me controllers, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, that's cool." And then it wanted me to draw the Guardian. I was like, I don't want to create a bounding box for myself, but it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like it's just point and click, and you draw a box, and if it wasn't right, you just add to it's like Photoshop. It was, I hadn't even gotten into a game yet. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's just very user friendly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I played a couple games. I tried Super Hot just to see how the difference was in that. Yeah. And I will say that I was impressed because you had said that you felt like the throwing mechanic worked better. Like it felt like actual throwing. And I do agree with you. Yeah. I think we've said recently on Gamescast Live that everything feels like pushing on PSVR, just so the camera can really see the Move controller do its thing. Mm-hmm. This felt like throwing, and if I had to crouch down or whatever, I never had a fear of the camera losing tracking.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the beauties of this device altogether.
Not needing to use a crouch button, or knowing that if you don't feel like using a crouch button, you can just like go pick something up off the ground. That is an interesting feeling to know that you are not restricted by the VR equipment that you're using. Mm-hmm. A little eye-opening, I have to say, because I'm very happy with PlayStation VR as a Gen 1. Like this is our first effort for VR. This is, what is this, like the third Oculus, like the third big Oculus device? Yeah. So like I'm waiting for PlayStation's second big device.
I'm really hoping that PlayStation is taking notes when it comes to this on the wireless front. Because in a word, it really just comes down to freedom. Freedom to do what you feel like you should naturally be able to do, such as picking up items off the floor. Or turning your whole body around because something's behind you rather than click, 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 turn, and then now you're facing the other way. Or 180, because some games are more innovative that way.
Right.
And I'm glad that you got to try it out because it gives a perspective on why it's so exciting for VR as a whole, rather than just branding. And I feel like when it's celebrated as a whole, all VR headsets can move forward in progression and feed off of each other and build it to where it becomes more of a medium for everyone, more approachable for other people who were never interested in VR before. Yeah. It's sort of revolutionary on that front. We all love new technology. I know I do. There goes that thunder.
Yeah, we just got a storm warning, and moments later, thunder.
Yeah.
The weather.
Clear night sky back here, but
beautiful here in lovely Worcester.
It's only on that side that there's thunder coming in.
Very, very possible. We see it off in the distance. So I was doing the thing, especially at the beginning with. So I played Super Hot first, and I was doing the thing at the beginning where, with PlayStation VR, I've gotten very comfortable with the technology. Very comfortable, I guess, hindering what I do from a motion standpoint, and also controlling what I do from a motion standpoint, so that I'm playing the way they want me to.
Yep.
I always, I know how far down I can reach. I know how far up I can reach, and I was doing the thing. I was halfway through Super Hot when I realized I was still doing this. I could feel the couch on the back of my legs, which is something I do all the time, so I don't get turned around in VR.
Same here.
And then knowing that I didn't actually have to do that was very freeing. Mm-hmm. I just I can just turn around. I don't have to worry about getting turned around. The game knows where I am in terms of my play space and isn't going to let me get out of that area. So it does allow you to walk around a little bit more freely. I've always been the person that says I don't care about room scale because I don't have a room I can really walk around in. However, given the fact that my little 4x6 play area that I was working with today.
It is around 4x6.
Yeah. It gave, even just in that small space, it gave me so much more freedom than I'm used to, that suddenly I'm sort of on board with room scale. Not that I'm ever going to use it in like a probably as fully as they want me to, but to be able to just get that extra amount of freedom by using their bounding box or their guardian, as they call it.
And there was one feature on that you didn't, I don't think you got to experience with it. That grid, once you get close to that grid, it goes from blue to red, letting you know, hey, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
So long as you know that that's there, if there was a chance that somebody else was in the room with you, or you heard something, you just wanted to see what was going on in real life, you stick your head through that red, and it switches to your cameras.
You'll be able to see you again.
So then you're able to see, everything in your surroundings yet again. So that part of it's cool as well. You can be like, hold on, pause. What do you want? To whoever that is there in the room, or if you needed to. That ability for that to happen and to put the game on sleep while you do that, and then as soon as you pull back in, you're right back in where you were, is pretty impressive to me, especially since there's nothing powering it from the outside externally.
I messed around a little bit with Vader Immortal as well. Only did the first couple waves of the kind of wave shooter section.
The Saber Dojo.
Thank you. And it was like just only because I didn't care about getting through the story. I mean, obviously it sounds like a very cool thing, but I just wanted to feel like what is a lightsaber? What does Lucasfilm think we should feel like a lightsaber should feel like in VR? And it feels pretty damn good. I like the feedback in the controller. I also like the comfort of the controller. They are just big enough for your hand. They're not bigger. Just seeing your fingers move around when you move your fingers around.
That was pretty mind blowing when I first saw that as well.
Yeah, and then like something I barely used was when I played the Face Your Fears 2. There's analog sticks. Hey guys, holy crap! My eyes have been open.
The wrong people listen, but they listen.
Yeah, there's analog sticks on the controllers, and it's for me, it didn't make a huge difference because I'm so used to holding the move button down, pointing where I want to go, that it's at this point as natural as using analog sticks for me. But for new players, for people who have never played a ton of either VR games or people who have never played many VR or many games in general, I think this is such an important thing that needs to be added. I got off the bandwagon of moves need analog sticks a long time ago. I started the petition, by the way. So like, if you see the change.org petition, that's me. I started it. So you can see that like I've kind of reversed my ways and said, let's just be comfortable with V1 tech. There's a learning curve, but learn it and just be happy. And then, but man, to get people into VR and get people buying VR headsets, you need stuff they're familiar with. And analog sticks is something that every gamer is familiar with.
And I think for also the reason of turning your brain off a little bit more. I always find myself in PSVR, while I do adapt eventually, and you become accustomed to it and you memorize what this control scheme is, and it's like fluid within the 15 minutes that you're trying it out. That also has you turning off immersion because you're trying to think of what's in your hands physically and how to operate that thing to get around the game. With this, it's immediate. You get a sense of what you're supposed to do, really, without even a tutorial. Like, you kind of get the intuition on how to navigate with these controllers. And with that being said, it allows you to be immersed like this. It's a lot quicker. The effect is quicker. Your brain's in it quicker. There's not so much thinking. The curve is slighted just ever so slightly, so that way the immersion just ramps up for me. And I'd imagine anybody else who doesn't have to think about which button and where's the square and triangle button, and, you know, without having the actual model in front of you or having to take your headset off and look at it. Yeah, it works for immersion as far as that goes. Come on, Sony, let's go.
Yeah, and as far as the Quest itself goes, man, it's like I gotta say, you know, we've talked a lot about processing power versus, you know, the PlayStation 4 or PS4 Pro, and the games look great. The games look great. The resolution is fantastic. Like you said, there's almost no screen door effect. It's just, they look good. Yeah, they look really good. And I was surprised. I guess I was surprised by that to an extent. And like, these aren't AAA games I'm playing. You know, I tried out Super High, I tried out Face Your Fears, tried out Vader Immortal. Vader Immortal probably had the biggest budget behind it.
Yeah, ILM.
Yeah, and it just they all look good. They're good looking games, and so I guess, you know, we don't want to be graphic snobs when we're talking about VR in the first place, because obviously, you know, you're gonna take a little bit of a step down from cutting edge PS4 or PC games
for now,
right? PS5 is right around the corner, which leads me to the question I'm wrestling with right now in my head. I don't know if I want one. Like, I know I want one. Like, I know I want a Quest.
He does want one.
Right. Immediately, I did the same thing after playing Quest as everyone does when I show them my PSVR. The first question was, how much is this?
Exactly. That's always the first question, and he had it.
Right. I go, how much is this? Yeah, okay, and I don't need the bigger hard. Okay, this is, oh, okay, cool. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm in the process of selling a lot of my collection, you know, just to kind of fund the channel and fund my bank account. And
it's big, guys.
What's that?
Your collection.
Oh, the collection. Oh, yeah, Mikey's here. He's out of the collection. He also saw my crazy ass messy apartment. Yeah, it's a big collection, and I basically showed you the stuff that people don't see. Like this, when this green screen's not up, you know, everyone sees what's here in viewer takeover, but the other 2/3 of it,
there's a lot.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. There's a lot.
And I've basically come to terms with the fact that I'm okay getting rid of the other 2/3. Like, the stuff that's here might be my favorite part of the collection. Yeah, that stuff can go, and if that's on its way out, I may bring a Quest in.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So,
nice trade off.
Yeah,
who needs GameStop?
so if you guys do, I'm trust me, PSVR and PlayStation is where my heart is. That's where you know, that's where all the game cats came from. And that's why my heart will always be. And I'm so excited to see. I'm more excited now to see what PlayStation's planning for next generation VR. Now that I've seen sort of this stopgap, where, like, okay, wireless is cool. I get that now. Analog sticks on controllers are cool. I get that now, right? I'm interested. I'm very interested to see where this goes. I might have to get one of these just to see what's going on the other side of VR while I'm playing my PlayStation VR games. Channel's not going to change, I promise you that. But I'm curious.
That's my excitement with this device too, because I've always been PSVR all the way. I never wanted an Oculus. I never wanted a Vive. The companies that are lined up to publish on Sony's device is always compelling enough for me to just stay in that one demographic.
Yeah, for sure.
But something about this, aside from the freedom of wireless, the analog sticks that we've always wanted, and being able to walk in your space naturally, if you have the room for it, that's the thing. That's another caveat, is that if you have the room for it, it's there for your use. If you don't have the use for it, you still get the freedom of not having the cords, being able to turn your body full 360. Picking stuff off the floor was amazing to me, and it shouldn't be, but it was. Right. It's cool to see every aspect of VR. PSVR introduced me into VR, because who wanted to be an early adopter and spend tons of money on a computer rig that'll run it, setting up lighthouses for your detectors, paying the premium for the headset only for it to change the following year. This was a good point in seeing where it can go on all fronts.
How long do you get out of a battery charge?
4 hours.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say, not thrilled about the prospect of spending $400 on a headset I don't need.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see how many games I sell.
It was an impulse buy, guys. I'm sorry.
And I can totally understand it. Did you also try somebody else's, or did you pre-order?
I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
When the pre-orders were open, I'm like, this sounds fun. And Amazon, was good for taking shit back if I didn't really want to keep it. Yeah. But I kept it because it wound up being something a lot more impressive than I thought. I wasn't expecting to get out of that kit what I got out of it and be that impressed by it. I was thinking I was going to be getting another thing where it's like a Google Cardboard. Oof. You put your... Yeah. That's where it started for me, unfortunately. Then PSVR was like, whoa.
The one thing I'll say is that Sony has knocked it out of the park. Like, I mean, because I've played Vive and I've played the original Oculus Rift at like trade shows, like PAX and everything like that. And they've never been comfortable. Like, in this also is Sony's knocking it out of the park when it comes to comfort, because as this thing is supposed to be comfortable, and it's supposed to be just like, oh, throw it on, whatever. And man, like it seems to be hitting my face in all the wrong places, in the back of my head in all the wrong places, and like one of my nostrils felt blocked for like part of it. I was like, I never, maybe I just didn't find the sweet spot for me. But man, when you put the PlayStation VR now feels like a cushion by comparison.
It does. It really does. And there's air ventilation. That's another thing. Like, you get air in that thing. This thing pretty much seals you up. It took me a few days when I first got it to actually get that sweet spot. Okay. There is a sweet spot where I could at least wear it for an hour and a half to 2 hours and not feel like I want to just peel the thing off my face. You have to get it just right. It's a whole thing. But it is possible, but he's completely right on that. Sony has the most comfortable headset. They did not change that about Oculus with this version of it. This iteration's still uncomfortable. But once you get it, like I said, to that sweet spot, it's not so bad after all. It's pretty good.
So that's our kind of impromptu review of the Oculus Quest. I'm very, very happy you brought it with you on your trip.
I'm very, very happy that you liked it.
And I'm very curious about a few things here. First of all, this was interesting because I never record with anybody but basically Des these days, and then online with AJ and Dave Station. So it's very cool to have you here in the studio.
It's very cool to be here.
It's my bedroom.
It's a studio. Stop it.
There used to be a bed right here.
There's no longer a bed, so it's a studio.
Okay, it's fine. It's my bedroom studio.
Or it could be a different studio if there was a bed in here.
Maybe. And so this was cool. And now I'm curious to, like, we've got so many Patreon supporters and so many people that I've known for almost as long as you through Without Parole. And I'm like, who's going to make the trip next? Right? Who is we're gonna see Rypop here? We're gonna see JD here. Who's gonna make the trek and come hang out, Madman. So
that is a trek.
That is quite a trek.
That is a trek.
But if you come, we're gonna make the most of our time, man. We're absolutely gonna make the most because flying over a pond. We're not letting you go home. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mrs. Madman. You're just not getting him back.
I'll come help keep him hostage.
Nice. I'm gonna hold him down.
Got one arm.
Wait, one person feeding him beer and one person feeding him pizza and then another person throwing a headset on him.
Yeah, throwing a headset on him. Switching between PSVR and whatever else.
Yeah, we're going to force you to have fun, goddammit. But anyway, yeah, sorry, Mrs., you're not getting him back. So, yeah, so I'm curious to see who's coming next. Also, I did want to do this on the litter box and not like, on the channel because, first of all, we're not a Quest channel. But also because if I do start talking about the Quest, the last thing I want anybody to think is that I use like Patreon money. I mean, I know he's like, this is how I live my life is like through Patreon and ad revenue. But like, I don't want anyone thinking, we give him money every month and then he bought a Quest. No, I'm selling my collection. That's how I'm getting money for this. So I wanted you guys to know that and just kind of keep this away from like the regular channel. And also, if you're interested in the Quest, like it's very cool.
He's a closet Quester.
I mean, it's gonna be a fun supplement, I think. It's so ridiculous too because I'm constantly saying one thing is that I don't even have enough time to play PSVR games, all the ones that are out there. I don't have enough time to review those and spend the time with them that I want to. And I'm going, what else is there? What's this Quest thing? So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. If by next week I don't already have one, then I've already, the ship has sailed.
On that front, with the concern of having time to play them, that's why a lot of the experiences that I have on the Quest are bite-sized.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a snack when you don't want to eat a whole meal. Like when you want to eat a whole meal, you'll go to PSVR.
Yeah.
When you want a snack, you'll pick it up on the Quest. You'll get your few minutes in. You'll start sweating. It'll be uncomfortable. You'll be ducking and dodging. Run out of breath. And like, I'm done with this snack. Later on, you go back for the full course. It is, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. And like, and honestly, I think everybody I know knows what I do, and as far as like PSVR without Parole. But it's very hard to show them my PlayStation VR without dragging them here, and I don't want people here. So dragging a Quest is a radically different thing. Throw it in your backpack. Just throw it. I was surprised that you like handed it to me. I put it on my head, and then it was already on. I was like, wow, that was.
Yeah,
like
that's the first time you realize how special it is when you actually have to just throw it on and that's it. It automatically turns on, literally. No buttons, no nothing.
So getting to show other people in that same way and showing them how easy VR can be instead of having wires like, constricting them or whatever. I think this is going to be more fun for me to show off VR to people, even if it's not the games I want to show off.
I brought it to my family's house and they loved it.
I bet.
Yeah.
Nice. Mikey, it's been a fun week.
It has been a fun week.
We've gotten 3 episodes out of you.
I'm exhausted. Can you see the sweat?
It's you came on like the hottest fucking weekend of the year.
Yeah, man. It's been a heat wave up here. It's about to come down, though, so hopefully it cools off.
Yeah. So, guys, I want to say thank you, as always, for being awesome, the fluffiest of the fluffiest, the loyal of the loyal, Patreon supporters. And if you guys have any ideas how we can get more of you, it'd be amazing.
Come on, guys.
Right? Tell
I'm leading a revolution. Come on down.
Tell your friends that Without Parole has the best Quest reviews.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That's how this is going to go. Mikey, thank you again. I really appreciate you being here.
No problem. Anytime.
And we appreciate you as well.
Yeah, we do.
Great night. We love you all.